There is two different kinds of learning and two different kinds of understanding, as we said yesterday, and that belongs to the imitated Iman and real Iman, realized reality Iman. You know, if we are in the taqleed phase, in the phase of taqleed, of imitating, it means we understand the things we say we understand from the mind. You know there is the will of Allah, you believe that, you say, you believe there is only Allah and He has created the good and the bad and He is behind everything, and so there is logical thinking, you know, this is happening, that is happening at the same time, in different places, same things are happening, or synchronization, this and that, you can understand by your mind, but it is then this belongs to the first kind of understanding. The second kind of understanding is the real understanding by your heart, which is connected with consciousness. This is deeper, it's deep understanding, and even that understanding you cannot easily put into words. You cannot put it into words, actually. You can put it into words like poetry, for instance, poetry or stories, you know, like, but you cannot, like a logical thinking, you can, like, word by word, you can fix it. But the understanding of the heart is different. You cannot put everything in words, in sentences, you know, because it is different. They are speaking of different, and the awliyas who have that reality of Iman, when they speak or they give something, they can give in different forms. They give it in words. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Ibrahim, die Kekse. Aber wir haben eine ganze Tüte von der Küche. Aber brauchen wir jetzt nicht. Huh? There's nothing? No, we just brought this bag. Wir hatten nicht dahin wollen. Ja.
Der hat ja wahrscheinlich nicht gesehen, weil die auf dem Boden steht.
It steht auf dem Boden, it's on the floor maybe. No, there is this bag. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, fi awwal wal akhir. Yeah, it's just, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was able to speak he speaks something, and it was according to the levels of all people. The people had different levels. They had all kinds of different levels, and Ahmed, woman. Nee, danke, nee. Die kleine im Auge behalten. Wo ist sie? Auf der Wiese?
So vorne jetzt. Aber die Wiese ist jetzt wieder weg.
Ach so. He was speaking with everyone, and everyone understands for himself, and every human being has a different level. And he was able to speak, and at the same time, all the people, they understand. And everyone would say, this is just for me, this is just what I wanted to know. You know, and everyone on a different level. This is one of the miracles of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And awliyas, the saints, they have that. Different ranks, depending on the rank of the saint, but usually they have that. Moreover, Sheikh Nazim, he had that also. He was speaking. And for some people, he speak about high spiritual understanding, you know. For others, they take just the words which he say on a different level, mind level. We speak on heart level and mind level, you know, at the same time. So that is different way of understanding, and that takes a long time. Depends on your spirituality, and spirituality is to develop, you know. And developing spirituality means, well, usually they think spirituality is something, and then you make some exercises and some yoga or this and that, and where you're very spiritual because you have a feeling or some atmosphere you can taste. This is not spirituality. You know, spirituality is to work on your character. Or you can say without work on the character, that you will not reach to real spirituality. Because the ego and the spirituality is not going together. They cannot go together. The ego is just, ego wishes this. This is just opposite opposite your character. Character must be clean if he wants to take what is useful for him, for the spirituality. The hindrance has to be removed. And the hindrance is the ego, which is the ego, the following the ego. That is in all fields of our life, from the desires, from the basic desires up to even the ego is following in religion, in following the way, spiritual way. You are thinking you follow a spiritual way, but the ego is following you there also. Making you proud, or making you that you think something which is not true. It's following everywhere, and anyone cannot reach his goal until he conquered it, so to say, or killed the ego, killed the ego stuff, the Ich-Heit. Basically, we have two in der Triebseele. We have a soul, and the soul has nafs. You say the nafs has at least 8 different levels to reach. It's going from nafs marra bisu. That is what we call the ego. That is, if you translate it, it is the nafs, the soul, which is ordering you to do bad thing, to be in an evil atmosphere and do some, or harmful, at least harmful. It's a harmful thing. Harms you or harms others. This is nafs marra bisu. Then you have Nafsul Lawama, that is a soul, it is asking critically if you are alright, if it is okay. You start to observe yourself. The first step in Sufism, or first step for the mu'min, first step for the seeker of the path is this step. When he starts to think about what he is doing and to observe, he's taking a distance from that ego, distance from himself. And that moment, he is the first step to Nafsul Lawama. Die sich selbst anklagende Seele. The self-accusing soul. Self-accusing soul. Thank you, Sheikh. Gracias. Self-accusing soul is the first. And then it is reaching, if it's continuing the way, it's reaching to Nafsul Mutma'inna. That's the end. Not the end, there's also others, but Nafsul Mutma'inna is which is written in the Quran. Also mentioned in the Quran, it is a soul, die befriedete Seele. The soul which is content. It is in peace. In peace. This is the end. But this is three now. I speak about three, but there is in between other levels also, like 8 or more. This is the first step to take. And then the Nafs Amara Bisu, where the ego is, the ego, auf Deutsch sagt man, die Triebseele praktisch, die Triebseele, was die lebenserhaltende, treibende Seele sozusagen. This is the soul is running on 2 powers, powers you can say, and Rada and Shahwa. Die beiden Kräfte. Rada means the capacity of aggression, power of capacity of aggression. Rada, we say also it's fury, anger, fury. This is Rada, and also to be aggressive. And the other one is Shahwa, that is a desire of sexuality, for instance, and eating, drinking. These body things. This is Shahwa. This is given by Allah Almighty, of course, these 2 powers, and you need them. Without them, you die. If you have no power for aggression, no drive for one of them, you pass away. It's finished. Now, Islam and the rules of Prophet ﷺ and also the other prophets, but most perfect in the Islamic way, the rules, they are for controlling these 2 powers and to balancing them. The Prophet said, I came to balance, I came to perfect the character of human being, the human character. I came to perfect the human character. That is my mission. Prophet said so, not anything else. No, the reason is, there's so many things, but the reason is only to perfect the character of the human being. That is the point, the aim. Because if he is perfect in his character, then he gets this understanding, this high understanding. Then he gets Iman Hakiki, the real Iman. If he is totally balanced and clean, he gets all this. That is the aim. So, but Islam is perfect. It is totally perfect, as the Prophet was perfect. So he tells, of course, the rules and the things, the knowledge is for everyone. Everyone understands different according to his situation, his subjective understanding, but you find the things is from the lowest level to the highest level, let's say. Yes, you find this. And so you have that power, ghadab, for instance, this anger, this capacity of aggression, which you have to use it. So, for instance, you use it when you are working. You need power. Let's say you cut wood. You cannot. No, you must cut. Somehow with power, but also not too much. You will not make like you don't need such a wood. You need a middle, always a balanced thing. Or you have to fight someone is fighting you injustly, let's say, or let's say he is trying to kill your family, some idiot, some crazy one. Then you have to fight. You have to fight. You have to. From that is a courage. In this ghadab you can find this capacity of aggression. There you find the courage. You have to be courage, and this courage must be also balanced in the middle, because if it is too less, you are like a coward. If it is too much, you get injustice. If I exaggerate, or I give more trouble to people than they give to me, then I'm getting to injustice. So these things, the ideal thing is always in the middle, the balance. And yes, the same with the shahwa also. Yes, you have to. Eating, drinking is a very good example. Prophet was giving perfect advice on eating and drinking. There is now you find 4 books, I think, from Tibb al-Nabawi, it's called, the medicine of the Prophet, which is collected from his sayings, from authentic collectors, authorized collectors, and you can find there how to live in health. If you take the advice from Prophet ﷺ, you are healthy. Not to eat too much and not to eat too less. You were saying eat that, but that we don't do. But they did it. They were always healthy. From the health, they were very healthy. There was a doctor, famous story from Iran. He came from Persia. He heard about the Prophet and he loved the Prophet, and he came to his community to be doctor for them. And after 1 year, he asked the Prophet for permission to leave. The Prophet said, what is the reason? And he said, I have no work here. Nobody is sick. I'm a doctor. I want to go back to my country and to live as a doctor, to help the people. It's my mission. The Prophet said, okay, you have permission, you may go. Then he asked, what is your secret? What is your secret that your people, they are never sick, except for small things, And he said, yeah, they are not sick because they eat only when they are hungry. We are only eating when we are hungry, not before or something. And when we eat, we stop eating while we are a little bit hungry. It's not completely full, it is a little bit. And then he said the ideal mixture in your stomach is the 1/3 is a food, 1/3 water, and 1/3 the air. Anyone living like this, he will not getting a sickness, because every cell is ready to, if any sickness coming, bacteria thing is directly, immune system is perfect, very perfect. This is like this, as an example, but that you can find in all characters now. Now you have so many characters, maybe 80,000 characters, different characters. You can name them, let's say, and all of them, they have to be balanced. If they are in balance, you are okay. If it's too much from something, it's not good. It's too less, it's not good. So you are in the middle, and yes, and that is important. And to be balanced, you have to have a mirror to look at you, how you are in different situations. There is also the reason that Allah sends these situations and difficulties, and then you have difficulties. Something is happening and you are astonished or angry or depressed or surprised or happy. On the other hand, very happy and ecstatic, this, that. So many reactions are coming. But mainly you can say if there's difficulties, you has to work on it to carry it. To work on it. But you see yourself, where is your point? What is your thing that you cannot carry it, or that you don't want this, or you are not accepting the situation? You can see where is your ego, where is your point that you cannot accept this, but you have to accept it. And it's coming to you. The situation is coming to you to show you something about yourself. Finally, that is the main thing. If there is something you have to correct it, correct that point, or understand that point, and how to deal with that point, that is it. That is the work. And the Sheikh is a master. You say teacher, master. He is your friend, mainly. Knowing friend with outstanding, special characters, with special capacities, which not, the awliya, the saints, they have special capacities. Because Allah is saying, I give to my servants as I like, without hisab, without counting or something, to my friends. Awliyas, the translation from awliyas, saying, from awliyas, what is written in the Holy Quran also, the best translation is friends of God. Friends of God, or the other one is the ones who are near God, near. These two, they are the best translations. Better than to say saints or Heilige. That's auch okay, man weiß, was gemeint ist, but the best thing is this. They are his friends, because God, he is speaking about these friends in Holy Quran and also in Hadith. He is speaking about his friends. And Hadith al-Qudsi, the Holy Hadith. Holy Hadiths are these Hadiths in which the Prophet speaks in the first person, like Allah speaks in the first person, but from the tongue of the Prophet. There are a special number of these kind of Hadith. And there he is saying, my servant draws near to me. He's trying always, he tries. He says the believers who want more, not the ones who say, it's enough for me, this Muslim and rules, I don't want anything else. No, they have longing to unite with God. To unite and that to enter in that love. And so as he's saying, my servant draws, he's not giving up, always he tries, doesn't matter, always he tries to come to me until I love him. Das ist jetzt nicht wörtlich, it's not wordly word by word, but it's the meaning. Until I love him. And when I love him, I become his eye. I become his eye. Or what some people they are saying, his eyesight. Yeah, the seeing. I become his seeing. He sees, Allah sees through the eye of the saint. There is a reason that that sometimes if you find such a high rank saint, friend of God, he may look at you, one look in your eyes and you are clean. With one look, he can do that. It is happening. He looks at you and he burns, or not he, but Allah is always Allah, but through him, burning all negative in that moment, or let's say the impurities. He's burning, yes, burning the impurities by one look, as he likes. This is miracle of Allah. This is Allah's power. I am, he said, Allah has himself said through the Prophet, I am his eye. I am his eyesight. SubhanAllah. He draws so long to me until I love him. When I love him, I become his eye and his hand, working what he is doing also. I become that. He is working with me, only through me. And his foot also, huh? His feet, walking. He's walking only for Allah, or only driven by Allah. And his tongue. Some hadith say tongue, some not, I think. But I think there's also, I become also his tongue. What he is speaking, also through me. It's a great hadith. Great authentic hadith, Qudsi. And there's only, now we are saying this for illustrating that the Sheikh, that saint, the friend of God, authorized one, he must have such powers. Otherwise he cannot have his murids. You know, he cannot, no. He must know even the destiny of his murid. He must know. And he is leading the murid, helping him to his destiny. He cannot take the destiny for him or do the work for him. No, the murid must do the work. But he is pushing him, helping him, showing him like a helper, you know, in all ways. And he is with you. Basically, he's saying, who is with me, I am with him. The Sheikh is saying, like Allah is saying also. Allah in another I don't know, maybe Allah is saying also, I don't know if it's hadith, who is thinking about me, it's hadith I think, who is thinking about me, I am, who is making zikr with my name, I am with him. Who is with me, I am with him. Who is thinking about me, fakir, who is thinking about anyone thinking about me, I am already in that thought. I am already in that thinking, I am already inside. He is thinking about me, something, maybe from creation. We can only think about Allah through his names, not his essence. No, there is no permission, so to say, for us to enter there. But there is permission, and not permission, but it's like recommended, highly recommended, to think about his manifestations, of course, that we are sitting here, what we are seeing, the nature, human being, all these things. You may ponder about it, think about it, and you know that everything leads to Allah. Everything what it is appearing here. There's not one thing from the smallest parts of atoms up to galaxies and nature, everything which is not leading you to one of the names of Allah. One of it. You can say this is from this name, from that name, without end. Yes, that is, he is saying, I am already in that thinking. So he gives to the people as he likes. That is what most people, they don't understand anymore. They lost this point. Through Shaitan. Shaitan make them to lose that most important point. That the Wahhabis, for instance, they are saying the Prophet is like us. He is like us. Eating, drinking, speaking. Don't love him too much. Don't honor him too much. They say, also, they say, don't say Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. So all these kinds. This is Shaitan. Yes? He is not like us. He is like us. He has things like us. Body, drinking, eating, marrying, yes? But he's never like us. That is what they don't understand, these people. And all these people, the Muslims now, the community, they don't understand this because they believe these idiots, Shaitan people. They don't believe in spirituality, but the reason that we live here is spirituality. The reason of Islam is spirituality. For what you want Islam? For what? What you want? Want to make gymnastic? Or I don't know, until you're fasting, for health, I fast for health to get very slim, very well. Or I don't know what. For what? What you want? Yeah, you want to find your treasures, find your capacities, you don't use, even the scientists, they say you're not using your brain. You use, if you are lucky, human being is using 30% of his brain cells. 30% from these billions, I don't know, 12 billions of brain cells, yeah, and they are not renewing. Other cells from your body, they are renewing. Teilung. They divide, they get new. But brain, no. So be careful about your brain cells. Yes? We are not using it, our capacities. Even in the physical way, you can say this. But the reason that you don't use it is a spiritual reason. Like all sicknesses and all incompleteness, all these unbalanced things, they have the reason in the spiritual realm, in your soul realm, in the spiritual realm, not anywhere else. If there is something wrong, it's showing wrong. Not there is something wrong, and then all these doctors, they repair, I don't know, symptoms. They repair symptoms. Yeah, they say, yeah, take this pill for that pills. We have so many pills. We are very good, make very good money. Maybe one of the biggest money made in this world is from pharmacy. Yes, to give pills, all the pills, and they never heal anything. And Islam had the knowledge of medicine. Was the first. They were the first. Also Greeks, before they had knowledge about medicine. But Islam, Muslims, they were the first, after the Prophet ﷺ, they were the first to make a system out of it and use from everywhere where they got it, from China, from Greek, it doesn't matter, but they make it clear, they make it perfect, more perfect, and to put into practice what they didn't do, nobody before. So that we had the first hospital, good functioning hospital, very with doctors and everything, and operations already they had, and this thing and that thing, was in Baghdad in the 9th century, 800 something, Christian calendar. Working hospital. First hospital in Europe, 17th century. They were very proud to make a hospital in Paris, and it was not a very good hospital, it was just putting the sick people together in one place. Now they are very proud. The West is very proud. They are saying Islam is a backward religion, and we are the best ones. Our technology is unsurpassed, which is true. Yeah, the Shaitan technology is top now, but they would never develop any technique from anything, without Islam bringing the foundation: mathematics, physics, chemics, biochemics, astrology, medicine, cultural things like music, poetry. If they wouldn't bring it, they wouldn't have it here. Hygiene, wie sagt man auch? Hygiene. They brought it. Most hygiene people, Muslims, mashallah, up to today, even washing 5 times at least or more, and so many things. Yes, which the Christians learned from them. And then they build up, and then they forget from where they got it, and they get proud, endless proud. Yes, this is out of balance. The the trouble on earth, and the trouble for an individual being is that he is out of balance. That is the reason. So that the Sheikh, the friend of God, he has these capacities given by his Lord. As the Lord say, I give as I like to my friends. And the reason is that these friends of God, they should be our friends. We have to be friends with them. They are friends with us, and they lead us to good life in here, in this dunya, and in the hereafter. Yes, to complete our characters, to make a balance from our characters. That is a main thing, and it is not an easy thing or quick thing, but the path is taking time, because we are coming late. Everyone is different, let's say, to make it easy. Everyone is different. Some people, they are very quick, some people slow. Everyone has his time. It's also written somehow. It's the will of God, when there's an opening. But generally speaking, you can say that a murid, if he is serious, he will be with his sheikh for 10 years or 15 years, until the sheikh say to him, because there is a test, or not a test, a final work with the ego, to kill the ego, let's say, to finish it, or to conquer it, or to kill it, you can say, that is done in a khilwat, in the seclusion for 40 days. Before it was more, it was years. Now in this time it's 40 days. And to manage to kill your ego, and that is done by the sheikh. The sheikh knows when the murid is ready to enter this kind of thing, That is usually after 10 or 15 years. It's not always the same, but generally. So just to understand that it takes some time, and you have to And you have that time, that is a good thing, and that is a rahmah, you can say the rahmah of Islam, the rahmah of the Prophet ﷺ, that he brought this perfect way, perfect knowledge, perfect rules, perfect spiritual teaching, perfect lifestyle, life way, everything he brought perfect, and he showed everything to his followers so that they can go every step, so that he didn't leave any aspect of life you can find in the life of the Prophet, or you can find that he said something about it. There is not any aspect of our lives that we cannot find with him. That is a rahmah, it's a mercy. It's a mercy that Allah is not saying, oh, you egoist, I'm finished, I cannot see you, finish, destroyed, go, go to hell, No. Everyone has a chance. He has a chance to change, or a chance to learn, a chance to correct himself, a chance to get better every day. There is always a chance. Even he's a sinner, he may always have a chance. That is, there are so many sayings about the forgiveness of Allah Almighty, that He is forgiving. These things when we listen to our ego and we do what our ego say. Because if anyone is in the situation when he listens to his ego, he doesn't know Allah in that moment. He doesn't know. If you ask him, he says, yeah, there's Allah, but he is not. Not with him. He's with his ego. And you can't only be with your ego or with Allah. Or you can only be with shaitan or with Allah. There's only these two possibilities, not a third. And so there is forgiveness, mercy. There is mercy. It is showed every step so that we can follow every step. In every situation you find some solution. It's a perfect way and a very, very merciful way. Very, very perfect. But the people, they don't understand anymore. It's finished understanding. And Shaitan, he managed to show the opposite to the people, general people, from all kinds of people in the whole world. He is showing, trying to show that Islam is the most terrible thing. The most terrible word. If you say Islam to anyone, it is just, the truth is the opposite. Islam is the best word, is the best gift, is the best thing what you get. It's just the best, the most perfect and the best. And Shaitan managed to make it opposite. That is, in all kinds of fields of life, is doing this. So that you generally, if you want to know truth, you just have to think the opposite of what is happening or what the people are saying. Just the opposite. If you are looking at the opposite, you are right today. It's a difficult situation. But we shouldn't look too much to that, but we look to that other point, that you have a sheikh, a teacher, and you go and you get better. You get better. You get better. You have the Islam, and the rules came, because you have your ego, you are in a situation, you have the ego, you cannot immediately get rid of your ego, it's not possible. But you know when your ego is rebellious. And especially you can know this, or you know only this because you know the rules. Yes, you know the rules. You know that you shouldn't be envious. You know this, but maybe you are envious, because you have that character. So you have to fight it. Yes, you have to think about it, and you have to stand against it. Or you are greedy, let's say, another bad. Yes, then you have to be satisfied with what Allah gives you, and take it as it comes. Or you are stingy, you don't like to give. Then you can practice giving, for instance. Yeah, then you practice to give. At first, your hand is shivering when you go to this thing here. You say, I have to give. Like a Parkinson, you know. And then second time, after 40 times, it's not so much shivering anymore. And then you start to like it. You like it. You like to give. You know, and then it's finished with that bad character. You have to. And like this, the Prophet was teaching, and is still teaching, that you fight a bad character with the opposite. If you find and see and understand you have a bad character and that and that and that, you do the opposite. You look for the good character, the opposite character from that bad character. There is always an opposite. And you find it and you use it. Like in the medicine, it's the same. You use what you, if you are sick, you give something from the opposite to make the balance. And like this, you may do it fight it with the opposite. This is the main thing in the whole world. This is very simple words, and we are speaking only what the Prophet said and what our Sheikh said. We repeat only. But as our Sheikh was saying, sometimes when he gives a Sohbat or he gives some words to us or to all, he said, this is not only for you, it's for all the world. What I'm saying is for all the world, for everyone. And this is true. If anyone was, because anyone wants peace. You know, you cannot find a human being and you say what you like in your life. I want to be unhappy and depressive. No, you find? No, they run to the doctor, they want to get rid of their depression, and no, I want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. Okay, if everyone wants to be happy, how you get happy? What is the way to get happy? Happiness. You have to get rid of your bad character. With a bad character, you cannot be happy. It's not possible. If you are envious, you will never be happy. But you will be aggressive, and you will be violating people, and you will be lying. If you are proud, if you are a proud one, you cannot be happy. It's impossible. Also then you will be lying, cheating. If you are greedy, you cannot be happy, because you are always trying to get something, even which is not belonging to you, you try to get it. How you will be happy? How there will be peace? Everyone also saying peace. All of them, big demonstrations for peace, we want peace. Freiheit, we want to be free, and we want peace. These idiots, human being idiots, foolish ones. It's like I want to, one of my aims, the lady is saying, I am too much and I have to slim down, to be happy. I'm unhappy in my form. Speaking about this to the psychologist, speaking about this psychologist, listen, yes, I have to, and this is, I'm eating too much, and this, can you help me? And so, then in the end she says, but I have to eat, in the evening I have to eat one chocolate, full, at least. At least, I have to eat. I want to get slim, but I eat every night one chocolate, no way to leave that. This is, I ask for freedom, because what is a demonstration of freedom from the human being? They're asking freedom for their ego. They don't know what is freedom, first of all, and they are asking freedom for what? For their ego, to do as they like. And then at the same time, they want peace. They are schizophrenic. Mankind is schizophrenic. Generally, they have two personalities. They want peace, and they want their freedom from the ego. I must do anytime what I like. Anytime. And then I want peace. No. Freedom is if you serve, if you find your place, which is given to you by your Lord. You have to believe. Belief brings peace. And you must know that you have a place in this universe, and you find your place in your town, in your place, in your family, or without family, or with family, doesn't matter. Or you are poor, you are rich, you find your place, it is your destiny. You have to find it, and to live it, and try to be in accordance with that. That can be only a good character. And as long as human beings are not looking for a good character, they will never have peace. On the contrary, they will kill each other more than now. Even now it's the top what we had on the planet since Adam. It's the top from the quality and the quantity of killings, brutality. It will be more if they don't get to their senses and to the character. They asked the Prophet ﷺ, what is a Muslim? And he was answering the definition. He said, the Muslim is someone you are sure from his tongue and sure from his hand. That means that you are sure that this man is, or lady, doesn't matter, human being, he is not speaking bad about you, or in your face offending you like this. Also, when you are not there, not speaking backbiting and speaking bad about you. Secondly, he is not violating you with his hand. No actions. He makes no actions against you. Violating you, beating you, or stealing from you. With his hand. Stealing something from you. But that can also be in the mind. It's all of it. Yes, that such a one is called a Muslim if he is like this. Yes? And the living together of human beings start in the family. First, most intensive relation is a marriage relation. That is the most intensive relation of human beings. There it has to be balanced first for everyone. That is very important. Then the family. First is husband and wife. It's very important. Then with children and relatives, family must be clear. Then neighbors. Neighbors, you have to have a good relation to the neighbors. And yes, like this. And the question is not, because now human beings, as they are thinking normally. If the Prophet said a Muslim is like this, then he is thinking, that my neighbor, is he a Muslim or not? Am I sure from his hand? Maybe. Or am I sure from his tongue? I don't know. You never know. Because in Bosnia, for instance, we know all this Bosnian terrible war in Bosnia, there were Serbs and Muslims neighbors for 20 years, 30 years together and living together. And over the night, from Shaitan, he made this fitna. They were enemies. They killed each other. You know, it's very, because you never know. So, but this is not the question. The question for me and for you, for everyone, should not be, is my neighbor, am I safe from my neighbor? It's not the question, because you never know. Only question, if everyone asks the same question, and that question you have to ask to yourself only, is my neighbor sure from me? Is he safe from my bad characters? Am I injustice in any way, thinking or doing or speaking or anything? Do I have an injustice to my neighbors or to anyone or to my family or to my wife or to my children or to my parents? That is the question. Everyone. If everyone is asking these questions, let's say from tomorrow, 12 o'clock, everyone makes an experiment. We announce experiment. There are so many experiments. We announce the experiment for tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Everyone is asking only this question. We make it for 1 week. Or no, you cannot. You cannot. It's not able. Okay, 1 day. Also, you cannot. 1 hour. 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Everyone is asking the same question for 1 minute. We make the point. You will have the peace in the whole world. If it is truly done. But it's impossible. It's utopia. You see, but this is the truth. That is the truth.
May I ask something?
Yes.
The people you've been talking about, everybody, you describe them as people who are in a position to decide what they can do.
Yes.
Yeah? Now, I know, and you probably also definitely know people who are not in a position to decide because they are under tremendous pressure from family or other aspects. Because of that pressure, they show behavior which is not acceptable, which makes other people suffer. They know that what they're doing is not the best thing they could do, but because of the circumstances they are in, and they can't escape, they are forced to continue doing this. So I'm not saying, I won't go the way of saying these people have to do this or that, because you're definitely right, I am responsible for myself, not for other people. But when I am with these people, I have to take that into account somehow.
Yes.
Don't I?
Yes. Yes.
And the question is, how do I do that?
First of all, you have to accept and know that you can decide always. That is important. You can decide, and you must decide. You have responsibility. That is what makes a human being a human being. You know, from the animal. Animal doesn't have that. He has not this possibility. Human being has this possibility. He can take responsibility. He must take responsibility, and he must decide. And it is usually an excuse. You know, usually it's an excuse. You know, if we look deeply inside us, we excuse ourselves. We say, no, we cannot. No, we have to decide. We have to decide, and we can decide. You can decide for yourself. If I'm going this way or that way, I can decide. It's a decision. It's a decision. You can decide. All the psychological problems, all this big psychiatry and psychological problems, this kind of sickness, mental sicknesses, is all because of that point. Because the people, they lost this knowledge and lost the confidence, and they don't know really, actually, because of these different, all kinds of circumstances. They are not coming to the idea that they can decide, and they must decide. There's a very good psychologist now, newly. We just discovered him. He is an amazing psychologist. His name is Raphael Bonelli. You can find him on YouTube. I never heard such a psychologist. He makes order. He says, I'm making my teaching and my method is to make order. That's also what I said. All this belongs to order, balance. And he is saying that we have priorities in our life. And the first priority is the transcendence. He is saying, mashallah, I never heard from any psychologist. Very interesting, very good. Anyone has a problem, he may listen to that one. And he speaks also about the ego, about the Bauch, he say Bauch decisions, and things like that. But he's also speaking about, at some point, for decisions. Yes, that you make a decision. It is all a decision, even if you say, I know what you mean. You cannot you have an ideal and you know what you should do, but you cannot do it. Yes, you know what is the rule of Islam, let's say, or I don't know what, but you can't do it because that is okay. That we call compromise. We call it compromise, and that is also a decision from you, that you decide for the compromise. Yes, let's say, so that because for the decisions you can ask advice from someone who may know something, or you trust him to take advice. Several people also you can ask. Then comes the point, that is what the Prophet said, where you have to decide for some action of what next step. That is, you must make from your heart. You take advice, even from Prophet, doesn't matter, from Prophet, from Sheikh, from this, from that one. Then comes the point you have to decide the next step. That you must make it from your heart. First you listen, then you make it from your heart. So you may, in some situations, what we can say, for instance, simple example. I am not allowed to give my hand to a woman, let's say. Yes? Or in some madhab is forbidden, I think. There's 4 different madhabs, 4 different right schools. I think Hanafi is okay. If you give, you don't lose your wudu, and some you lose your wudu, and I don't know, some is forbidden completely. Let's say I belong to a madhab where it's completely forbidden to give the hand to a strange woman, lady. Okay, now I am traveling in these countries, Christian countries, and maybe there's some official meeting or something. I'm an official state, yes, and there's how you say, congress or something, a meeting, I don't know. Coming a lady and she is saying, I am this, introducing herself, putting the hand and saying, I am this one, and you are saying, Tag, ja, und ich bin, mein Name ist Dijk. This lady is completely shocked, offended, shocked. Maybe she gets sad. I don't know what her situation is, but she is, and I can also not explain because it's too difficult, too many people. I cannot explain the whole story that I'm a Muslim, but I can, So what I do, I decide for myself, I give my hand. That is, I call it compromise. I give my hand. No problem for me in that. It's a simple example, but there are so many. If it is a question, if I hurt, if I stick to my rules, then it's a question for what I do this. Is this for my ego also? Or I stick to my rules because I have to do this and I hurt someone. You know, hurting someone, if I scale it, you can always think about it and you come to this is the right conclusion. Hurting someone, especially hurting a heart, is very serious thing in the sight of Allah. More serious than you do that rule or this rule, you know. To hurt somebody, his heart is really forbidden and it's really a heavy thing. It's said, I think from Prophet also sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying that Allah forgives things easily, mostly easily, all kinds of sins, but to hurt the heart of someone, He is not forgiving easily. Because the heart is the place should be the place of Allah Almighty. He said, I am nowhere, or you can find me, or nothing can contain me. I am too great for anything. Only there is one thing in the whole creation, and that is the heart of the human being. You find me there. This can contain me. You know, it's very fragile heart of people. It's very fragile. Very fragile. You must not hurt. You must not hurt. So, if there are situations, then I have to think about it. Do I hurt this one? Or that? What is happening? You know, that is important. But if you think and you take advice and you think of the principles of the repentance, you come to a conclusion, and then you have to decide. It's always a decision.
I see myself in a position to do that. I was thinking of people who, from my point of view, are not in a position to do it because they have been weakened all their lives.
Yes.
They have been deprived of all rights.
Yes.
As from the very beginning when they were children.
Yes.
And then when they grow up,
that's true.
They try to find their ways out, but they always perceive themselves as being victims also.
Right.
So,
but this is all defensive. Huh?
Defensive?
No, this is
Deficient?
Deficient.
Yeah.
Deficiencies.
Okay.
Deficiencies. This is psychological sicknesses.
Yeah, I know.
That is why they are not in the position to decide. That is true.
Yeah.
They are victims. Not in reality. All is all here. Yes, it happened. Yes, because if nobody getting them out from this position, they stay like this.
Exactly. Yes. And then what do you do? That's the question.
You cannot do anything. You cannot do anything. You can only, either you are someone to help them, psychologist, or you can help them. You have the means to help them with something. Maybe you can. If not, you cannot do anything. You cannot do. You pray for them, that somebody helps them, that Allah's help is reaching them. What can you do? What can you do? No, you cannot. Maybe I can help my someone, which I'm close to him. Maybe I can help him with something. But it is not. Most of them you cannot help. It's not so easy. They need a long-term. Mostly the people, they are so sick that they run to the psychologists, and most of the psychologists, they don't make them better. They make them worse. Most of them. Like in the medicine, they make you worse. The school medicine, with all these pharmacies, psychologists also, they make you worse. Except very, very, very few.
I think that's also a question of the heart. If
Yes.
two hearts can correspond to
Yes,
each other,
yes.
then yes, they can help. But not from a
Exactly.
from a logical scientific point of view. It's not like a car.
It's too weak.
You can't repair a mind like a car.
Must be deeper. That is what you really need is a sheikh or at least a friend who is trustworthy, a trustworthy person, any trustworthy person, and he is able to. He has a mind, and he has capacity to differentiate between good and bad. This thing.
And is not involved.
Yes, you can differentiate. Otherwise, it's difficult.
You have to be outside the problems, I think.
Yes.
So if you are involved yourself, you might be a faithful person.
Difficult. Then you are with emotions, and then it's difficult to judge or to take a step, and a good step. That's true. Allah helps us, inshallah. Not easy, but it's manageable. Inshallah. Manageable. Ego is a big power. It's very interesting. And this psychologist, I want to listen to him also. I want to look for interesting teaching. But ego is a very habits. Habits is ego is with habits. Habits, bad habits. And to get rid of them is not easy. There's all kinds of habits. Mostly there is thinking habits, the way of thinking, the way of perceiving things, and then how you judge them and how you think about them. This is also a very deep habit, which is only finishing if you get another completely other dimension. If you don't leave that dimension, you cannot get rid of this. That's what the Sheikh is doing. He showed us actually another dimension. He showed us another dimension, and he brought us also to another dimension. But then it's for us to keep that way, I can show you, but then it's still you have to decide and with your willpower to follow that way, and not to fall back in the old traps, old thinking, old habits, which the ego is always asking. It's asking to have his position, das Ich, die Ichheit, dieses Ich-Gefühl. Der sagt auch, dieser Bonelli, der sagt zum Beispiel unter anderem, das hängt alles davon ab, von sich selbst abzusehen. He's saying that, psychologist, Mr. Bonelli, Professor Bonelli, that you have to, one of the most important steps is to not to look to yourself. How do you say?
You abstain.
Huh? Abstain. You abstain from being busy with yourself. To see that you are narcissistic, that everything is around with your ego. That is what you see, and you are you. That is I. The me. To get a distance and abstain to look to that. That is the first and the most important step. And if this is not happening, nothing is happening in reality. And this is following you in the spiritual way. There are so many stories, and that the people they're following a pious way, so-called, pious or something, religious way, spiritual way, but they are with the eye. They're not looking. So most of religious people, especially the officials, they're all with their ego, with their eye, that they see themselves. They don't see Allah or God. The ego doesn't allow them to leave it. The ego is not. They have to stay with their ego vision. Belonging only relation, everything relating to themselves. Not to get abroad, to look for God, really. There is a problem. That's if anyone decides to do that, or to look for that, he will be, finally he will be successful. Yes. Somebody was writing to me, he's still writing to me, one Marzouk, Murid from India. He's always saying, I'm his master. I'm not a master. I'm nothing, not even a Murid. But he's saying, you are my beloved master. He doesn't know me. I never saw him. I don't know from where. And then he's so funny. And then he said, pray for me. And then he puts the points, And one of the points is always, I want to be a awliya. I want to be a saint. He's one of his points. The sickness of my mother, I have to pray for her. And that also, he has good wishes, He means it good, he is sincere, He's Marzouk. Marzouk means drunken. My love, love from Allah. He's always asking me, please give me authorization, give me izn to say every day at least 14,000, I don't know what, there comes an ayat or something, a very special zikr, 40,000 from this. And now I want permission every day, 30,000 from this. And all the time he's asking me. I always, when I answer him, I say, I'm not authorized to authorize you. Ask Sheikh Mehmet, we have a Sheikh. But he's not listening. No.
It has to be you.
Funny one. But I just remind, I want to be awliya. Okay. It's so funny. What is your answer? You can say one of the signs that you are getting on the way to be an awliya, to be a friend of God, is that you don't want to be an awliya. That's the only answer you can give to it. One of the signs. If this wish to be an awliya is completely away from you, completely, that is a very good sign. Continue on that way, So funny people. MashaAllah, Allah has so many. We are all so funny ones. Everyone from us is a special character, special human being, no? Unbelievable. Everyone is a is a universe. He is a universe collectively. Everyone, he is a micro-universe. Every human being can find everything in him, in the human being, everything. What you find in the universe, you find in the human being. And then there is Allah's greatness, God is God's greatness, and then also he is special. He is a special universe. His appearance is special, unique. Every human being is unique, is special. MashaAllah. So great. MashaAllah.